What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to TekSyncLabs. This is one of the labs here. Today we are going to do a ring cut of some 216 fiber optic ribbon fiber. And we're here building a customer. This is our customer line, and this is our north and our south right here. And, we had a customer down the road, and we're going to see if we can get them some signal today. Alright, first and foremost, this is our 216 ribbon fiber. Comes to this type of cable. You gotta open it up a correct way. If you do not open it up the right way, you will be in a situation, and potentially everybody that's online with it. So let's approach this and make sure we got it to where we learn how to do it the right way. Alright. Now, there's specific tools that can make this much easier. Here's one of the Jonard, call this a ring tool. We're gonna see if we got our size here to fit. Let's see. Hey, we are fitting today. That's not always the case, guys. Got our cable here. Let's go ahead and kind of clean it up. It's real dirty. When it comes to doing fiber optics, you want to keep everything as clean as possible. So I'm just putting a bunch of alcohol here. It's 99.9% alcohol, if I'm saying that correct. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean off all this nastiness on our cable here. I'm sorry for this. Trying to get the right view. We're just gonna clean this all the way down. And this can actually be free. All the way down. Try to get off as much as dirt as we can off of this, because if you're using one of these slit tools and it's dirty, it ain't gonna slide like you want it to. Alright, y'all, this is gonna be our enclosure. This enclosure is gonna be in the ground for a very long time, if not forever. It's either gonna be us taking it out in the future, or an alien of some sort coming over here to put a better network in the ground. Alright, let's see what this ring cut tool will do. Got one razor blade there. There's supposed to be another one on top, but after you use it so long, you lose it. This guy is sharp as can be. And it's good to sharpen your own stuff instead of having to go buy new. Just sharpen it. You don't have to spend your money for something else. Or you can just go spend your money and get something new, whatever you're feeling. Alright, so what I'm doing right now, guys, is I'm marking this cable, my blade a little bit deeper compared to your smaller ring tool there. So whenever I am pulling back the cable shielding, as you'll see here shortly, able just to pull right off instead of me having to get over here and cut it, do all the action. So we're just going to get right up in there. Highly recommend gloves doing this unless you're skilled and comfortable with it. And I've cut myself enough to know how much pressure and when. Alright, simple. Start with our ring tool. Put it on there and you just move it. That easy. Now, if you didn't have this ring tool, it would not be that easy, just a heads up. But thankfully, I supply some of my own tools to make this much easier. Yes, that's deep. Let's go ahead and, being I don't have blades on both sides of this ring tool, I have to do the other side now. Try to make it to where it's completely across from each other. Alright, here we are. All the way down and around again. Your Jonard makes some of the best fiber tools I've used so far. 6 years in, 12 years in communications and full. Oh yeah. This guy's deep. We should be alright. So I'm gonna push in a little bit more. Follow that cut I just did. And go up. Just to make sure we get a start on that cut. You'll see here shortly. Do this on both sides. And as you're pushing your blade in there, you'll be able to feel the other shielding inside. So you're pushing maybe about a 16th in, maybe a 32nd. Not too much. You'll feel it. Alright. I'm feeling it. In a situation like this, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable because of this, how sharp this blade is. So we're just going to be a little extra cautious. Ain't much. Takes a couple seconds for safety, and it's much faster than a couple days or weeks of your skin healing. Alright. We're just going to ride this down a little bit more. I'm only 6 inches right now, but being as I got my full depth, I'm just going to ride this down another 3 or 4 inches. Alright. You're fully in here. I'm able to actually see the shielding, just so y'all have an idea of what we're going to. You see that in there? That is our inside shielding. We are getting there. Back up over here. Alright, recommend whenever you're working with these thick cables, you want to use some Kevlar shears. See those rivets? That makes all the difference in the world. I'm just getting this blade in there and trying to get top black shielding to pop off. And it'll come just a little bit where you can grab it. I'll show you how to grab it in a second. Hey, we made a discovery. This doesn't always happen, guys. But look. With this type of cable that we have, it's going to have one of the strings on the side. It's like that on most cables, but not all cables. And I guess it's just been a bit for me to remember. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just peel it like a banana. I'm just going to peel. Peel. You ain't gonna mess nothing up. Just cut away to it until you get to a metal ball on the inside. Alright, here we are, ladies. Get to a metal bar. I'm about to show y'all here what I'm talking about. Make sure we fair distance. Metal bar. These are basically some metal strength members. Metal strength members that keep it straight, pulling on it. Not all cables come with them. Our guy here did it. Got about almost a foot. You want to get a full foot. That metal streak, and I'll show you why here in a second. Alright, so as you can see, you can't see a whole bunch of this. I apologize. But I cut it to where you can see the cut rivets of it just to get to that metal bar. Once you got your metal bar, I'm gonna ride this blade down right beside it, all the way down where you're cutting. Make sure you're on the back side, opposite side of an orange string you're gonna see right beside it. You don't want to cut that orange string. It's gonna be your best friend here shortly. Alright, I got a metal bar out. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut this metal bar. Alright, metal bar is out of the way. Gotta little bitty orange string in there. Sometimes take a magician just to grab it right. But by the grace of all the struggles I've been through, I'll make it a little bit easier for y'all today. Here's your hook tool. It's your best friend right here. Let's stick this in there, right around that string. And here we are. Get that string to come up just right. That is your best friend right here, this string. You know what, you see more of these. Alright, we got our string. Cut our string. Alright guys, I'll show y'all an invention I learned from a friend of mine out in the field. This is going to completely change how fast you get this done. We're going to grab the right drill, be right back. Alright, we got the correct drill. DeWalt, bad boy. Hammer drill function on it, just make it a little stronger. What we got here is just a full stiff bar that has a hole drilled perfectly through the middle of it. So we put where the hole is closest. And grabbing it. Alright. Now, that string. Gonna get this string, see what side it's on the side of that bar, and I want to keep it behind that bar, the side that it's on. You want to keep it on that side for it. I'm gonna stick the tip of the string to this little hole here. It takes patience. Sometimes being wet too. There we go. Alright, now the string is stiff and it's not all flared up like it was. Alright, we got our string all the way through. Change this function to your drill function because you're going to need some power here. Also, like I said, remember, keep that bar on the other side. You don't want to go over that bar. If you go over that bar, the string's going to pop, and then you're going to create a headache that you don't want today. Alright, so I'll just make sure I tighten up where... see, look at that. I didn't have it over the bar. I just had that pressure was on it too long. I tell you what, I'm about to do something I learned at AT&T. Might make this a little bit easier. Stick the bar inside of our drill hole. We're going to use the bar as our spin. Whenever you're drilling this, you want to make sure the bar is going on top, not under your bed, on top. And then we just walk it down, guys and ladies. We're just going to walk this guy all the way down. Cut. You want to go about 2 inches past your cut. Alright. Now I gotta get this fired off. I'm just gonna pull it off just like that, and look at that. We just made a spring, guys. Alright. Now, here's the other bar going the other direction. We want to do the exact same thing this direction. Make sure, like I said, that bar is rolling on top. If not, that ain't gonna out like you want. We're just gonna guide it all the way down, guys, while trying to keep this bar. Look at that, try jumping on me. You want to try to keep this drill as straight with this cable as possible as it's doing. It'll do the work for you. You just gotta make sure that you keep it as straight as possible with it. Don't go too fast for the situation. I'm just going all the way down until I get about 3 or 4 inches, 2 to 4 inches past our cut here. All right, got it. Move on. Let's get this guy to go out. Alright, we got another spring. We'll go ahead and cut these edges off. Alright, so that's 1 bar. We got 1 more to go, guys. 1 more to go. So we're going to get to where we cut earlier. Got our string. Look at that string moving now. That string wants to get out your way now. There's our string. Alright. This glove sometimes grabs stuff. Alright, so we got our bar on this side. On the complete other side is where you're going to see your other bar. So let's go ahead and just butcher this thing up a little bit. Remember, you want about a 12 inches or so. Get all the way down to it. There's other better tools at using this, but sometimes in this field, if you're comfortable using what you're using, just move quick with it, just grab it. I want you to use what's most efficient for you. If you don't know yet, I suggest picking one of these guys up. It's a hell of a start. Alright, we are just cutting down that bar. Good movers. This thing moving for us. Tell you what, let's grab a more efficient tool. How's that? Alright guys, I got a little upgrade for us. I suggest starting with these because of the efficiency these guys do. This is your Stanley, just regular razor blade. Same at Home Depot. Grabbing my blade out of the middle of it. This one's still a little beat up, but this will do what we need it to do. Alright, got our blade on it. Already started. There we go, a little bit better. A little bit faster. Yeah, new blades on there working a little bit better too for you. I try to make sure I get my full use out of my equipment tools. Try my best at this. We're about 8 inches. Got about 4 more inches to go. Have our full foot. Foot's going to matter if you're working with your strings or working with these strength members. You got to cut it in half, so that means you only have 6 inches on each direction. Alright. And we got about a foot. Make sure I get it fully cleaned up and pull this bar up with ease. Alright, put my razor blade aside. You're going to grab your handy dandy. You're going to stick it in there and try to ride that bar down a little bit so you can grab it. That's our next goal, is to grab this bar. I see my string in there. Sometimes in this field, it ain't always easy to get to that string, so when you see that string, you get a little excited. I'm just gonna follow this down, guys. Make sure I ride that bar all the way down with this blade, so when you pull up this bar, it comes up with ease. instead of you fighting it. That's what makes it easy. Alright, we got our bar about a full foot, not completely. So now what I'm going to do again, separate this bar out of the cable. We want to cut it perfectly in half. Make sure you got the same length on both sides, because it matters. Alright, our drill again. Stick it in our hole. You want to have about 2 or 3 inches coming out of your hole, and you can start spinning it. Alright, like I said earlier, make sure that drill bit is on top when you're drilling back with them. Stretch this cable all the way out, and we're just going to guide it all the way down. Ooh, not that fast. What's good I learned is patience is your most important tool out here. If you're not patient, you will cause a situation that will cost you hours. Be a potential where you have a lot of customers down. Be a potential where you're just bleeding out in the field and you got to go run for your first aid. Patience is what makes this job easy. So I'm just going to follow this all the way down, guys. We're trying to keep this spinning as straight as possible. We're almost to our bottom down here where we made our cut. Yeah, actually we were right past it. Look at that. Patience. See how I stop to make sure? It matters. Go ahead and just turn it off this cable. Make it a little bit easier to get this off. Homemade springs. If y'all need any homemade springs, I am your guy. Just kidding, they're going in the trash. I don't want to put some on that. What I'm trying to do is get this to come out on the side. Hey! And I'll tell you what, these tools will do it for you. Alright, we are just fighting to get this out. It happens sometimes. Alright, so get it to where I can grip it. This guy's fighting with me. I should be able to grab it. Homemade springs away. And we got one more side of this bar, and we're gonna be inside this thing. Oh, yeah, I don't need to go too fast. Like I said, you're just going to guide this while trying to keep this drill bit straight up and down as it spins as much as possible. Let's see if I can make us a really pretty spring today. Oh, just trying to turn on me, so I'm going to take the time on it. You gotta spin it the way you want it, because it'll go the way that it wants to go. So the way it tries to do that more often than you want it. I'm just gonna guide this and keep this fully up and down straight with it. We're almost there, guys. Alright, like I said, about 2 or 4 inches past. We're incision from earlier. Alright. Ooh, the springs. Yeah. That's a spring for you. Alright. Pull this guy out again. I can't really grab it much right now, so we're going to see if we can knock it up a bit. Need to go up a tad. There we are. Should be enough for me to grab it. Remember, the tool's a tool. You can use it any way you need to. Alright, look at that pretty spring. Alright, alright guys. About to get to the really fun part. The scary part at the same time. Because this is usually when things go wrong, depending on your experience. Alright, so we got this all the way open, going all the way down the bar, which leaves us a gap where we can grab our black shielding and peel it off. So we're going to work our way down it. See if we can get that black shielding in our hand comfortably. Sometimes in these situations you're going to grab a heat gun to heat up the shielding because it doesn't want to come off sometimes. Dealing with a situation like that, it's nothing fun. Alright, straight like that, try to keep it clean and organized as possible. So you're able to grab stuff as you need it. Fast. Our vice strips up here. Set it so we can grab the shoulder just right. That should be good right there. A lot of nickels width. Right. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to guide this blade down the side of our cable. I'm peeling the tip of my blade under the black shielding. You want to lift this shielding up. That's our next goal, is to get all of this black shielding off of our enclosed fiber on the inside. So I'm just working this thing, and we might have to grab a torch here, guys, because this is some old fiber, some old ribbon, and this stuff sits in the ground. It gets like its own Mother Nature curing, and it's a budget. Just I didn't really do much there. Most usually, with properties. We'll try to cut flat with the top of this cable on the inside of our incision. See if I can separate this outer black shielding from our inside armored green shielding. You'll be seeing here shortly. Not too deep now. You'll feel it when you get too deep. Alright. Need it. Oh yeah, it's starting to move a bit more now. Once you go back and forth a good bit, it'll loosen up. Safety first, guys. In a situation like this where you're putting a lot of strength into this blade and you're cutting towards you, the further away from your chest it is, the safer. More safety equipment you got on, like gloves and goggles and stuff, safer as well. Alright, not enough. It's moving though. Alright, here's some progress. Let's see what we're dealing with. That camera's terrible. Can't see this good. Alright. We're getting up in here. Yeah, once you have it separating, just follow it back and forth, left to right. Woo! That thing will start budging a little bit better for you. Now to even get to this point, now follow the steps I provided. So now I'm just trying to bend it. So we are getting there. Bend, bend, bend. Alright, tell you what. This little flathead extension bit. You can have a regular screwdriver that works, but this works as well. And you're just separating it from the inside shielding. I'll show you a better view here shortly. So make sure you get at least one step ahead. That's exposed. You're starting to see that inside greenish, bluish. It's like a teal. Shielding. Yep. So we're almost all the way through. And you just go back and forth with your blade and your attachment, your screwdriver, whatever you're using and comfortable with. Finish separating a little bit more up. Not too deep now. You'll see some white in there, and that's your inside string or inside mule looking tape. It's not a mule tape, but it kind of looks like it. Alright. So I got it about coming off the back as well when I bend it, like it's ready to pop off the back. Alright, so we're at the step for cutting. Now once you can get your scissors inside of there and actually cut something, you want to get that as deep as possible. You want to just cut it to where you can grab it with something else. Alright, so I got it just enough, about a very small incision. Now I can grab it and open this up a little bit more. There we are. We are getting somewhere. We're just going to open it down more and more. This is where your patience kicks in. More and more. You want to get it at least 6 inches on both sides. Both sides where you did your small incision or something like that. Alright, that's fair there. So now we're going to cut this outside black shielding all the way to our inside green, blue, teal looking color. Super. Doesn't have to be all the way to it, but just enough. Once you get comfortable out of here, you'll know that's just enough. Alright, let me tighten this a little bit more to where it's not touching, but it's close. Grab this. We're just going to peel. We should peel right off. We sure did. We peel right off. Alright. Now, you got this guy. You see your teal shielding? now we're just going to peel this all the way off. Like I said, guys, sometimes this isn't as easy. You have to get that heat going, but Fiber Gods was with us today. In the winter, this isn't too fun. Yeah, you'll be out here sometimes for an hour just to get to the inside of that cable, because that inside shielding doesn't want to budge, because it's like it's frozen, and it just won't move forward. That's a headache. That's never fun. All right, let's get this off on both sides. I was going to show y'all a trick. I'm going to show y'all the right way of doing this. When you get comfortable out in this field, you'll learn from a lot of technicians if you pay attention. Different ways to do things. And I'll say I'm a good mixture of about 6 or so splicers that I've learned these tricks from. These 6 splicers aren't just your average everyday splicers either. I call these guys wizards. They've been in it long enough to know all the tricks, learn all the tricks from the other people, so if you show your care in this field, some of these guys will take care of you. I'll show you the best way to do things. So I'm just peeling this all the way down. Do this 4 times, 2 on each side, all the way down. All right, look, we cut it deep enough earlier. See how it popped right off? That's what you want every time. You gotta get it deep enough, not too deep now. If you get too deep, you'll might actually hit the cable. You're gonna knock off the cell phone tower, knock off that cell phone tower, and the husband and wife couldn't finish that crazy conversation while he was at the Coldplay concert with another woman. But that's not your own thing. Alright, so what I'm doing right now, I'm gonna work better on this camera views in the future. I'm just following this teal shielding all the way down with my blades, where this blade's going to get under your black outer shielding. So that's our goal. Alright, I think that's just enough to grab. And it's a little bit more. Getting it deep enough where you can grab it with vice grips. Let's see if we're deep enough. Woo! Boy, we were right deep enough. Barely. Grab it again. Like I said, you just want to peel it until you get it a little bit loosened. About 6 inches. 6 inches of peeling it, just your tip at a time, tip length at a time. And as you go to peel it more, let's see it start to kind of hold together with one. From your other peels you did, and it'll start moving a little more you go. Like I said, 6 inches. Alright, I got about 6 inches. So now, things acting a little funky, so we're going to make this just a little bit tighter. There we are. Just to where it's barely touching the side. Get back in there from the first start, right in the middle. We're going to peel it. It's moving. When it starts moving around, see how I got more off of it? So I'm going to just grab it a little bit more. I'm going to go a little bit closer to that armor and bite again. Let's peel a little bit more. Alright, we're getting more. Do the same thing. A little bit closer to that shit. peel. This should be us. One more grab. One more grab. All right. Peeling, guys. We are peeling. Now, it's very important in this situation, fellas. Let's go ahead and cut this. Now, being you got your other armor off the other side of this cable, you're going to be very cautious of how and where this cable is leaning in every direction. You don't want to see any kinks. If you see a kink, that's a headache. You don't want that in your life, because it will be a problem. Alright, I'm just going to cut this blade down. You don't have to go all the way down to that teal armor now, but just enough to the outside where it'll start peeling with your cut. Alright, I got this separated and pulling it off. Like I said, you want to make sure you keep an eye on the rest of this shielding, because once this is off, this is when the kinks happen. Like, look at this. See how easy it is to bend? When stuff happens. In situations like this, guys, I highly recommend getting used to some type of hook system inside of whatever laboratory you're using, to where you can keep your cable out of the way in these situations. I have several locations of different hook systems in here. They go a long way. So let's go through and get the rest of this off. I'm just checking this cable, make sure I don't hit any abrasions on it, causing any issues. It's looking good. Alright, that side is completely ready to get to the teal. Let's get to this other side now. I'm just going to grab it. Grab it with your vice grips, just enough. Grab it with your hand. You don't need your vice grips on it the whole time, unless when you're pulling this, guys. And remember this it will happen. Usually in the cold, when you're pulling this, and you can see that it's about to tear. Your black cable is about to tear. Like I didn't see that one just now. You want to make sure you get your vice grips and you just wedge it off. If you pull it hard like that, you'll see that, and it'll just break every single time. But it happens. There ain't nothing to get back to it, so we're just going to stick our blade back under our black shielding. This is where your gloves comes in handy, because you will slip. And you just want to wedge it up. Do that on both sides. The entire time you're doing this, you're keeping caution of where the rest of this cable is, because your black shielding on the other side is off. Like I said earlier, it will kink. So be very cautious the entire time you're doing this. Look at that. If I would have had my gloves on, guys, that would have been some blood there. Well, you want to be extra. Take the time, be patient. We can work at the speed of excellence. As my mentors always told me. And, yeah, I ain't out here. So we take our time and got it grabbed again. And we're just going to peel it up like we did earlier. Peel, peel, peel. So you can grab it with your hand like we were doing. Let's see if we can pull on it. Let's grab. Look at that. Okay, beautiful. Now you can grab it with your hand. Let's take our time and see if we can make a difference today. We're just going to slowly pull this thing all the way down. Can avoid any more tears and not have to waste 3 or 4 minutes of our time again. I'm just slowly pulling this. I'm going to stretch this cable all the way out, use my fast clamp over there for pressure. And just slowly doing this thing. Almost to the good stuff, y'all. Almost to the good stuff. Alright. My scissors, I didn't cut it deep enough when I was doing my first incision at the start. Cut it right off. Alright, guys. This is when the fun stuff happens. I say fun stuff because this is when the risky stuff happens. I highly suggest music in situations like this to keep your flow and your focus in your spot. And I suggest music with actual lyrics, like talking. Because sometimes you'll be carried away talking them or singing it. You lose track of where you're at. Whatever works for you. Everybody's got their own flow state. Alright, so what I just did is I cut our shielding off. Got it all the way through. This shielding has to come completely off this. But with this ribbon fiber, we got to keep this thing straight the entire time. You cannot let this bend in any type of way. Because once this shielding is off, you only have a plastic tubing on the inside. That is not strong at all. It's keeping your fibers inside of it, your ribbon fibers, and your gel safe. So see how I'm pulling tight? You want to keep this tight the entire time as much as possible as you're slowly pulling the shielding off. When you loosen this thing up, you gotta be worried now. So you keep this thing tight. Okay? So I almost had a situation over here where I loosened up at the end. Tight. Alright, I'm at the end over here. Let's see if we can. I can't turn this camera around as much as I want to, y'all. You know, have this fixed. Alright, so what I'm doing over here at the end, you can't really see, ladies and gentlemen, is trying to get this outside till shielding cut off. I highly suggest in situations like this you leave tools sitting around your laboratory. When you're in a situation like this, you can't just always walk off, grab something and come back. You gotta have it right there in front of you. Save you some time and save you some headache from a kink or something. Alright, doing good down here, guys. Completely off. I'm loosening up the bottom and I'm holding tension on the very top. I'm keeping that tension as I slowly pull this off. Like a banana, basically. As you're doing this, you want to keep an eye out at the rest of this cable at all times to prevent these kinks, because they will happen at the absolute worst times. Right. I highly suggest these guys as well. These are your hooks. You can get them at Harbor Freight, Home Depot. Got the actual specific name of them. You can just have them sit around your laboratory and make storing stuff a little bit easier when you're working in these environments. All right, guys. Let's see if we can. It's better this way, honestly. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get this teal shielding pretty low. You want to leave about 4 inches. 4 inches from the end of it. I'll show you why here shortly. That's for your grounding. Alright. Sometimes this stuff can be scary if you don't Take your time. The more cautious you are about what you're working on and around, the better results you're going to have at the end of avoiding things. Alright, I'm just trying to get all this madness. This is what was on the inside of that black cable. It wasn't really, black cable don't look like it would have all this, but yeah. If you want to get it outside of your laboratory, unless you have a huge trash can, I highly suggest getting it outside of your laboratory. Alright, y'all. We are at the bare of this fiber. And as you can see, here's your plastic shielding I was talking about. Alright, we went and grabbed our special 24-hour ribbon fiber. Now what this is going to do, I can actually put this on my cable, follow it down, and not worry about messing up any of the ribbon on the inside. I'm basically sizing it up right now on my size chart to see what setting I need to set. It's looking like 11. Yeah, because 12's got too big of a gap. You don't want that extra gap. You want it snug. Alright, so I'm going to set this to see where 11 is. 11 is E. So I want to set this to E. We are set on E. Do this on both sides. We're set to E on both sides. Now we're just going to open this guy right up. Check our depths visually with our eyes to make sure that's not too much with our blade on the inside, which is about right here, guys. I may not be able to see it too good, but it's there. That's what does the magic. Just keep loosening this guy up. Alright, we're going to get it just enough where the tube can get in there. Now, this is the tricky part, because this takes experience and patience. A lot of people get that sometimes. So what we're going to do is, let's check this out. I'm just trying to think ahead right now. I should probably put my boot on first. Let's do that. Let's do that to avoid sinking. No, because I have to bend. You don't want to bend this plastic cable. You know, so I'm gonna mark this cable. The reason why I was talking about potentially putting on my boot first is to measure out where you want to start with your ring cut on this guy. So I'm gonna grab my enclosure here. Going to be your Commscope D case. It's about the same as your Fosk 400 or your 450. Not much of a difference. Let's set this down. These edges here, this is where your cable, your start of your cut is going to be at. It's going to be right outside of it, about 4 inches. I'm going to put it right beside it as if I have it set in there, and you want to measure it. It's where your tubing, where your ribbon's going to, your ring cut where you start, it's going to be about 1/3 of the way into your basket. You want it about 1/3 of the way in your basket. And I got about 1/3 here. Set this to the side. Go ahead and do a mark on it. Match this up with the other side. We're going to match up that mark all the way around. Alright, we know where we need to start. We know where we need to finish. Follow your arrow here. Just depending on what type of ring tool you have. We are about to bite this guy. Get it on there. cut is, close it. I'm going to tighten this guy. I'm going to keep going until it's snug. When you see it snug, you're penetrating. Yep, we are penetrating now on both sides. We're just going to walk this very slow, very gently, very cautiously. I'm going to set this out of my top hook system. What I said earlier, when you're doing this, you want to check all sides of this cable where you're putting it. This plastic wants to bend and break on you. That's what it's for, is to piss you off. I'm just kidding. It's safe, of course. And make sure this stays tight at all times when you're moving this thing, because you get to a situation where it loosens up just enough to where your ring will stop cutting in. Good, I tightened it up. I'm going to verify also as you're going that you are still penetrating your core, your plastic shielding, that is. All the way down, guys. Let's see a little bit better. I'm going to stop right where we started on the other side. So loosen this guy back up. Alright. Your cable, make sure it's in a safe spot where you consolidate your desk. It's about to get messy. Tools out of the way that you don't need anymore. The cleaner your lap desk is, the peace of mind will give you. It'll get. When I was at AT&T with some guys, it was Joe. This one was Joe. I was training with at this time. This guy was wiping his counter. It seemed like it was every 10-15 minutes. Make sure it stays clean. But when you get to moving around out here a whole lot, cleanliness goes a long way in production. Seems like the more clean you are, the more productive things can be. So you don't have to move this, clean that, pick this up because it fell from this, and dirt all over your tools and all over your hands. So the things are all easier to do. Alright. Let's get a little creative here. Remember we started our ring cut earlier. So now this thing wants to open up. Tell you what, before we even start, let's work ahead a little bit. Alright? Open up my toolbox. We got some DJ, right? Get some gloves in here because this is about to get nasty and messy. I don't have my oil pan with me today, but the oil pan would be the full fix of what you're about to see. I'm going to use a bucket instead. A regular Home Depot bucket, nothing fancy, special. And I'm going to show y'all something. It's very important. And it's this guy. This is your DJ. That is your best friend when you're dealing with this ribbon fiber, when you're dealing with ribbon cable. That's going to be the guy to get all this gel off of your cable so you can put it inside of your enclosure without how the gel with it. Makes a big, 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 big difference doing that. Put on some gloves here because it's about to get really sticky. Vinyl synthetic exam gloves. Right, about to get to some fiber here shortly. So what I'm doing now is I'm peeling plastic coating off our fibers from the inside. Once you get it peeled up, cut it. It doesn't have to be exactly where you have your mark at earlier. So remember, you're only a third in, so you still got a lot more room to go. 2 more thirds. You need it. I'm going to get all this ribbon fiber out of the way. Alright, so we are just peeling outside plastic shit off. Get it out of your truck. Anything that has this gel on it, get it away as fast as possible because this stuff travels faster than the speed of light. I'm joking, not that fast, but my gosh, this stuff travels pretty quick. It gets messy very fast. To give y'all an idea, I'm only a couple feet in and you do not want this on your clothes. If this gets on your clothes, it's not coming out. Like I got some on my clothes, it's not coming out. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up our gel. Make some progress with it. I would have been a little bit smarter to start with the gel, but I get to moving a lot sometimes. It's okay. Still making that wonderful progress you need. Pour this into my bucket. You want about 3 to 4 inches up in there. Get about 4 or 5 uses out of this, just depending on what type of can you got. Alright guys, but like I said, whenever you're working with this gel, you do not want it touching all over your trailer because it's not going to go easy. So basically what this gel does is keep the cable safe on the inside from any hard bends. It lets it bend types of ways. It would be better if it didn't have the gel. You want to take your time, and I can't reach. Take your time and work on this plastic shielding. This stuff is not meant to be your friend, it's meant to be the cable's friend and keep it safe. As long as you can get to that comfortableness with it, be nice to it, you know, it'll be nice back. Not all the time, but most times. Then we'll cut this off, just be extra cautious anytime we have scissors around us. this work. This ribbon, ooh, stuff's jumping everywhere. Take your time. Minimize. What I'm doing back here, guys, is I'm slowly taking this plastic shielding off. Slowly but surely, we're making progress. The reason why you stay slow, because as soon as you pick up, you feel comfortable that you can move fast, is when something happens. It'll make a hard kink, make you nervous. You'll accidentally break your cables, make you even more nervous because you're definitely fixing it. But with time and experience, you don't have to be so nervous out here. Take your time in your approaches. Right. Y'all are about to see some stuff here shortly. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of our ribbon coming out of this tubing. Sad, it's just be patient with this stuff for sure. Alright. Almost. Even if you're at the very end of it, guys, you want to take your time. You do not rush these processes. Respect the cable and it will respect you. Most of the time. Alright, get this out of my truck. All this gunk. No, that wasn't so bad. It's not a whole lot of gel compared to some of these other experiences I've had. Right. I want to hang this from my roof so it can sit in this bucket a little bit better. But I don't have my strap into a situation. I got all this gunk on my hand and I can't touch it. So I'm going to take these gloves off real quick. We're going to grab a fresh pair of gloves if we need them. Right. So what I'm doing now, get that out, get all your gel on it. Don't want that in here because it does not come off easy. I'm going to take y'all down here with me. So what I'm doing now, got all my D-gel in here. And I'm going to get this ribbon at the very bottom if I can. Just splash it around and this D-gel is slowly going to take off some of this gel on the inside. Whatever direction you go when twirling this around, make sure you keep an eye on it. When it starts twisting up, stop, go back the other direction. You don't want to cause a crazy tanglement, because they aren't too fun to try to get off. Alright, my bottom's looking pretty dang clean in there. Y'all can't see it too much, but the water's no longer clear. Got all the gel in it. In a situation like this, means I can't get this cable hanging from the ceiling because I don't have a rope pulley system right now. I'm gonna be a little creative. This is where your innovation kicks in. Alright. Open up my toolbox here. I'm going to open up this bottom drawer. Get this cable going here just right. I can set this on the bottom drawer. And we're just going to do some more twirling. Keep an eye out, making sure it's not getting tangled or mangled. Right, the top drawer is cheap. Try to run off on this top of that. Alright, this is the nasty part. This is usually when you get stuff all over your hands. When it comes to working with this gel cable. It happens pretty often. You just have to accept it and deal with it. Have some extra D-gel or some Gojo or some more alcohol or something on the side. And you can clean yourself up. Alright. Prepping my hands, getting get some type of cloth, some towelettes, tool cleaner, towels, something that you can use, dispose, and throw away, because you do not want to keep this. What I got here, some Gojo scrubbing towelettes. What you're going to do, you're going to stick this thing in here. This other cable at the top, we couldn't really clean it much, so we're going to just get this D-gel on this towel. We're just going to wipe all this gel down into the bucket. You want this cable clean before you try to work with it. It's very important getting to this point. It takes patience, time. Seems like time and patience are friends. Unless you put them both together, you're not always going to get what you want out of it. Alright, we're pretty clean on the top of this cable, and the bottom of that cable is looking pretty clean too. Just to make sure, we're going to send this cloth around all the cable in there at the bottom. And basically just follow the way it's in there. Get that gel off. Alright. I would say we got most of the gel. When you're dealing with bigger counts, like 432s or 864s or 1028s, I highly suggest letting it sit compared to moving around like I'm about to move around. That comes with experience. These here, well, you can clean. It just depends on your cleaning, what you take your time with, you know. You gotta let it sit or not. If people take a little break or a smoke break or just sit down and cool off, while it sits. The longer it sits, the more of this gel it's going to come off on its own. Out the tray. Alright guys, this is the fun part. Now remember, this gel's on your hand until you get it off. Either with some D-gel or just get new gloves and hold. We got our D-gel today. Alright, so I'm pulling up this ribbon fiber straight up. I'm going to let it hang from one of my little hook systems I showed you a moment ago. I'm going to let it drip to this bucket. Hook back a little bit. Alright. Got our cable dripping in this bucket. There is no gel on this thing. Beautiful. That's what you want. You want this thing as gel-free as possible. Because when you start working with this stuff, you got gel on it. And it's gonna go in places you didn't think it could get. And you won't even touch it to get it there, it'll just happen. We'll find out. Alright. Go ahead and make sure the top of our table is clean again, so we can get everything assessed for our next step. I'm finding gel all over the place. I didn't even know how I could get over here, but it did. And all on my arms too, it happens. Sure you prep up everything to be comfortable moving forward. Get all your tools out of the way that you're not using anymore. Well, right now, set your dirty tools that need to be cleaned in one location together, so you can clean them together at once. And all your clean ones with the clean ones. All right. Now, well, let's strip dry it a little bit more. Let's move forward a little bit. This is our Commscope D case. I call them C cases at AT&T. Over here, Commscope D-Case. I'm sure there's a bunch of other names for them out there. I just gotta undo all my bolts here to get this off. You loosen it up, you turn them out the way, then you tighten them up again where they don't fall non-stop. Now, whenever you're going to put this cable in here, you want to go ahead and get all groundings out of the way and bent over the edges, because they will get in the way in the future at some point and aggravate you. You don't have to, but innovations. Alright. Let's just set you up a little bit different here, give you a little better view. There we are. Let's go ahead and get this bucket out the way. I don't want to empty it yet, just in case I need some more D-gel in a little bit. Right. Now we got our ribbon cable just chilling. Your cable has to go through this hole before you do any splicing. So if it does not, and you splice this up, you're taking your splices apart just to put this guy on. Stick it in a hole, or it's coming through the other side. You want to make sure you take your time here and keep these cables straight at all times. These accidents happen. I'm just trying my best so they don't happen in this lab. Right. Using my hook system back here to keep my cable off the ground. Here's our customer cable, so we still haven't got to it yet. Stick it through here as well. Right. Now we can go ahead and get another one of our Jonar tools to get this other black cable open. This is, let's see if it's a 24 count or 12 count. 12 count. It's a 12 count. We'll be splicing this 12 count to our 216. You want to meet it the same edges as the other cables. Make sure whenever you put your sheath on here, you put it on there the correct way, on the correct direction. Oh, look, we didn't size it up, but that's wrong. Just wait like what, 45 seconds? That happens. Well, with this cable here, we're not going to be able to do the sheath trick like usual, so we're going to show you the old-fashioned. Here's our old-fashioned right here, this blade. You're going to look at the very end of this fiber, and you're going to look for a little string. Sometimes they're orange, sometimes they're blue. This one is blue. So I'm going to just go ahead and don't cut right beside it, flat beside it. I don't want to cut the blue string. You want to cut right beside it where you can grab that blue string and pull it out. So let's just cut all the way down about 6 inches. You can grab that blue string now. Precision. Got our blue string. Alright. That's not 6 inches. Can we pull that? I'm sure, but I'm not feeling it today. So, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get my 6 inches. We're just going to take our time, guys. Get this. Look at that. I got a nice cut on that one. There we go. We got our 6 inches. We got our 6 inches. I want to show y'all a little homemade trick I did. See this pick here? There's a little rivet on the edge of it like that. If you hook it on right before the end of this cable, you can wrap it around. And that thing's tight. It's tough. I got the string. I'm just going to twist this. Oh, look at that. I was going the wrong way, guys. I want to make sure this is on top. So that's alright. Just going to spin this around. I'm going to pull it. Look at that. This guy go. Just grab your string down in your hand. Let's move along. And I'm going to pull the string all the way down until I get to cuts that I started with, which is I didn't do, no problem. I'm gonna match it up now. We'll just give it a little scraping for a marking. Not serious, just where you see where you want it at. Alright, grab the fiber. We're gonna pull the inside white tubing, whatever color tubing. Keep this thing as straight as possible. Use your feet if you have to. Just pull. And we keep doing that until you get your white tubing all the way out. You don't want to have a kink on this. If you got a hard kink on this when you're pulling, you're doing it wrong. A lot of times you'll deal with this fiberglass. I say whatever this mule tape or the string they have in there. It can be really nasty sometimes to get in the air and you're breathing. You don't want that in life. Alright, all the way down. Go ahead and see where I put my little cut mark. All this black shielding at that cut mark. Make sure I'm there comfortable. Get it all out of your trim. You don't want them on the floor. You want them in the trash bag or out of your trim. Alright guys, we are at almost all of the exposed cable. So getting to our next steps. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, position this cable a little bit more comfortable in my lab. Keeping an eye on all corners of where this is turning at, not causing any kinks. Push it out a little bit more efficient workspace than what slack we have in here. There we go. That's good there. this is about to get to the fun stuff. Get these cables out of your way. If you got a hook system, use it. If not, make one. That is efficiency. Alright. Here's our trays, or tray basket. This is going to be where all the work is. We're grabbing the rest of my kit that came with this basket. Go ahead and now we're just going to prep this basket. As you can see, I have my inside clamps with this piece that's going to grab the cable pointing towards my basket. Towards my baskets. Sometimes you'll see out in the field people that have it pointing outside of your enclosure. Now, it works that way. That is not how I was trained, and we are not going to do it that way. Sometimes when you're dealing with your grounding, when it's pointing outside of your basket, you don't have good access to get to that ground. You have to take the basket off and shift it around, which is most times when you're adding a new cable, you have to take the basket off and such anyways. But doing it this way is much easier for people working with in the future. Much easier for yourself in the moment as well. Get our clamps to hold this cable. Only the ones you need. Trash the rest. Unless you don't have a big supply. Just hold on to it for your supply. Alright. Go ahead and finish prepping the rest of this enclosure. What time are we at? We are a little bit past time what we want. But in a situation like this, you cannot stop until you're finished. That's what happens a lot in this field. Alright. Next couple steps, fairly easy. You're going to go ahead and put your grounds on first before anything else. Remember those vice grips. Let's grab those again. I'm going to close it enough to where it's about 2 nickels stacked on top of each other with. Semi-close this, not all the way, but a little bit more close than how it was when we got it. Makes it easier. Now, we want to put on our ground on the outside of this teal shielding. To do that, you have to grab the end of your shielding rounds. Use your vice grips and you can grab it just right, just slow. One done, let's do our other one. Grounding is very important in this field because there will be a time where they are going, when I say they, I mean like the locators. If you're looking where this cable's going, it's not grounded correctly, because I'm a lot of trouble trying to locate this cable and where it's going. Both grounds on it. The other cable that came with it cannot be grounded because it does not have an armor shielding a metallic shielding on the inside. Looking for some tape, and I didn't have any handy in front of me. I think that might be some future innovations. Have some tape sitting around easy to grab. That just wasn't the case this time. Right, got our electrical tape, and we're just gonna tape around this ground and that cable. And I'm just taping all the way from wherever you stopped your incision at. This 4 inches past your cut, taping all the way up to where I cover the tip of this ground where it's grabbing. Not the entire ground, but just where it's grabbing. And we're going to follow that all the way back. No same wrap. Factory starter. Alright. Same thing on your other side. All the way down, covering all my teal armored shielding up. Get to our ground, going all the way back. Now your other cable that's not armored, you still want to tape it up. Just to where the core is coming out, all the way back. You want to finish your tape where you started it. Alright. Consolidate a little bit more. Get a little bit more peace of mind on here when you're dealing with this. Let's go ahead and grab our next set of tools. Alright. And prep everything up. This battery is there. About time. I've got some serious use out of this battery. Wow. I'll have to charge that later. This is why you have extra tools other than your drills in these situations. So what I'm doing now is going ahead and get my clamps ready. These clamps are going to be the clamps that keep your cables secured to your basket here. So I'm just setting them on there ahead of time. You don't have to. But it makes it much easier whenever you're in the moment with it. You can see how short we're talking about. You want to get them just started on it. You don't want to turn them too much. You want to get it to where it grabs it, just start. Alright. We get our slack basket. Put this in the middle of these two cables. So let's go under. Be extra cautious. The more time you take, the safer everything will be. Not about speed. It's about security and safety. Alright. Got my slack basket on. I'll give you some more eyes here in a moment. Just to make sure I measure it up to where I don't have too much hanging out. Too much hanging in. That medium. I suggest dealing with these ring cut cables. Just start on the back side. We always start on the harder stuff in life. It makes it a little bit easier when you get to the easy stuff. Start at the easy stuff. Use all that easy energy. Now you're at the hard stuff. It's just a little bit hard. Doing is I'm trying to get these clamps to hit just right with the width of this cable. I think starting with these clamps made it a little bit tougher. Another thing too, you can use different size clamps, like the big ones that came with. The small ones. Just because I've used it so many times. And it just bigger clamps. And now it changes up with the width of your cable. This was just big enough where you want the bigger one. Just sizing it up. Music going. Alright, got one side of my clamp. Let's go ahead and get our other side. Start on this back side. Get our back clamp on first. Give the top drill. Or you can just do it the old-fashioned way, whatever you're feeling. Go with what you're feeling and how you're moving. Put it in your mind that you gotta do it a specific way every time, and it ain't always like that in this career. There's innovations waiting at all times. Nobody has perfected it in this career. You may think I perfected it, and other people will say, yeah, you perfected it. No. There's always room for improvements. As long as you keep your mind open for that, you will always make improvements. I'm just lining up this bottom. Back side on. Clamp down. And we're just going to tighten that. snug where it's not going to move. You want to adjust all of your cables first before you tighten it all the way. The reason being, sometimes you may be off on your length that you haven't come in here compared to length going out. If you tighten it up and there's too much on the outside, it'll look nasty when you're trying to tape it up or put your labels on it. I don't want that. You're the one putting this together, so let's take our time and get it 99.9% right, you know? Another 0.1 is that innovation waiting to happen. We don't know what it is yet. It could be even bigger. But we only go off of what we know right now. Alright, straighten this out, make sure my leaves are good. My leaves look wonderful. So let's go ahead and tighten the rest of this up. Alright, we are fully secured. Clean up my hands a little bit with some Gojo and some alcohol back here. Gojo on my hands first. Get our alcohol next. Nice to have a little squirt bottle, make it a little easier. Just gonna dip our hands in the D-gel now. Right. Hot. That's why we can't close the door because we broke that piece. Get excited. Alright. Now we're gonna secure our inside tubes coming from our ribbon fiber. Alright, our tubes are secured. Alright, our next step is going to be getting to our ribbon. Specific one we're looking for out of all 18 ribbons. These 18 ribbons are made in counts of 12, which makes 216 if you do your math. Or just listen, whichever. Alright. So now I'm pulling this all the way out, stretching it. I'm going to look for my my ribbon 14. All of these ribbons have numbers on them. You're just looking for your number. Whatever you're spliced to or golden or whatever you may need it for. 14, 14, where are you? created so you can keep your ribbon off the ground and out of your tool's way, because it will grab your tools. We're going to work this loop all the way back to your basket. Now the way sometimes this will go, it's not as easy as you want it, but that's just part of the game. Alright, we got our 14. I would be using my Kevlar shears right now, but they're dirty. And I haven't no time to clean them due to being on this video. And I'm just letting y'all, showing y'all, you don't need those kinds of Kevlar scissors. They just make life a lot easier. There's a bunch of stuff in this film that makes life easier. Alright, I got my ribbon prepped in this tray for it to come out. Grabbing some of these tubings for this ribbon. Like I don't have any floaters today, so I may have to open up a new tab. Highly suggest keeping extra stuff. Tight straps, extra tape, just sitting in different areas of the truck. You'll use it. Once you see that it's missing from that area, you know that, hey, look, you're getting low. And, we'll get some more. Not mentally seeing where we're at. I'll make this one work only because I don't have floaters in here right now. They're in the back of my truck. This one's all really neat. I was just going to be a little extra for y'all today, just so y'all know for future. Cut off your ends on your tubing. Make sure you gotta cut edges where they're kind of fine. You don't want them all kinked up and nasty like this edge would have been. And you're just gonna wrap it around your ribbon fiber. One side done, the other side now. You see a little bit. I'm just wrapping it around. Trying to get this tube all the way around this ribbon fiber. tube is going up the cable. So make sure the cable is secured on the inside of the tube. And what this is just preventing measures of it actually getting kinked on the outside. Not everybody does this. I highly suggest it. The reason being is once this stuff sits on the outside, going around these edges exposed for so long, over time, it's going to start to fall apart. People moving around it non-stop so consistently, you know, and not caring of how they did it in a certain direction, and it'll just start slowly tearing over time. But if you have this keeping it safe, it will not tear. Ribbon secured. We're going to go ahead and get our 12 count for our customer secured on top of everything here. Got our other 2 tie wraps waiting to be used. We are going to use them now. I'm just trying to secure this cable to our basket. Showing you just about bottom finished product here in the next couple of minutes. Didn't have an extra tie wrap, and I gotta move my hand off here and go get one now. But thankfully it's secured enough where it's not shifting all over the place. If I would have done what I was just preaching, so I wouldn't have to do that. Alright. Ready for our tray. Now with ribbon fiber, they make specific trays for them. Let's see the double stack trays. Those, when you're splicing ribbon, I highly suggest using those if you have your ribbon splicer, that is. If not, and you want to shred them all to singles, have fun, good for you. I don't highly suggest that. I don't suggest that at all, really. Alright. 0 1/3, we're good. Let's pick making sure we got good flow, movement. Bottom's looking good. Got us secure our tubing now. Let's separate them all into twos, groups of twos. Go ahead and get our felt for the top tubings for our trays. This felt's going to go on the end of your tubing so the tie wraps can grab. You don't want your tie wraps directly on this tubing because it's going to fall through that little gap. And then you're going to be in a situationation. You don't want that in your life. All the way around. Alright, we're gonna secure the top portion first before we do our bottom. Just prepping my tie wraps now. I'm skipping a hole because of the size of our tubing we're dealing with today. Tie wrapping that felt tubing, both sides. You will be securing the bottom, just not yet. I'm going to get these top finished first. So when you secure the bottom, you know you have your exact slack up top that you needed. And that slack tray can do its job and hold your slack for you. Right. These are either two. This is going to be for our customer. Fiber for our customer. Cut my felt customer side. Even though that you got thick cable sometimes with the outside shield, you still want your felt. Because that shielding doesn't have any oomph to it to keep it secure whenever you tie strap it. Measure it up here, eyeballing it, what I need it, what I'm comfortable with, on your tray. And I'm just scarring it. I'm not cutting through this shielding, I'm just scarring it enough to where I can bend it and break the rest of it. See, when your hands are slippery from that gel, it isn't always easy. Now, this is a gel-filled cable as well. But it's not that nasty gunk we were just working with. I'll work with this stuff any day. You keep that other stuff. Unless you want to pay me enough for it, of course. Alright. Just gonna grab another these wipes. I'm gonna get this gel off. Some alcohol on my wipe here. Gel off this cable and off of my laboratory because it is getting all over the place. We're almost at a stopping point. Anytime you got a second, you got something in your hand that you can work with somewhere else with it, do it. It's efficiency. It saves you time, it saves money, which gives you more time with your family at home. Tops are secured. We will secure saying? All right. Tops are secured. Two more groups of 2 for our bottom. Pump this guy up while keeping an eye on all of your fibers still. You're doing that at all times, just about. If you're sitting there thinking, looking around, you just stop and look around where it matters. Okay. Bottom, securing my bottom tube down here. Hey, we almost didn't put felt on it. Look at that. Very important with these processes that if you do mess up, stop what you're doing and you fix your mistake at that time. If you're in a situation where you have to continue working forward to even get to fix it, you continue working forward with full intention of fixing your problem first. The most important thing in this field, everyone, is saving downtime. That is the most important thing, other than your safety, of course. Downtime is conversations people were supposed to have, and you don't want to be the reason why they didn't happen. Sometimes what happened too in this field, something I call the God element. Some of you may be familiar with it. The God element in this field is things happening just because they were supposed to happen. Like you're perfectly working with something in full care, and then for whatever reason, it goes south. Not because of you not taking your time or whatever, it's just because of the integrity of the cable, and you were supposed to be the one to be there in that moment to break it at that time. And it happens. The most weirdest stuff happens at the most random times in this field. And it's because somebody wasn't supposed to finish that video call, or somebody wasn't supposed to finish that phone call, or finish sending that email, or somebody was messing up real bad. The God element kicked in and said, nope. Let's go ahead and have this affected over there where they can't finish that conversation, or they can't finish what they were doing here. And so, God will throw a little rock every now and then. And what's wild is sometimes we're the rock. And you're doing everything fully like you were trained, and oops. As long as you take your time, stay patient. Most of the time. Ladies and gentlemen, you're starting to look like a fiber enclosure over here, guys. Get ready for some eyes. I'm sure y'all been blind for a long time, trying to see how this works. Let's give y'all a little bit better eyes. All right. Here's our bottom slack basket. And here's our top that we're currently working on. And this is our little hook system I was talking about. You can just have these guys in different parts of your trailer, and you can even make homemade ones like this. I made this one to kind of use the big thick cables on sometimes when I still have my black cable on it. I mean the black outside shield, that is. Alright. Now, we can close up this bottom and then reconsolidate our desk again. Now when you're closing up this bottom down here and you put this cable in there, you gotta remember you're gonna be the last one to touch this. Your name is signed on these locations. So you wanna make sure this is pretty down here. You wanna do everything you can to make it pretty. What I'm doing here is I'm just doing a fold loop system, and I'm just folding the slack on top of each other, trying to keep it together as neatly as possible. Try to give it that little pretty look when you're done. So in this build, looks matter sometimes. I say sometimes, all the time. So the more you make it look presentable, the more your name will get out there. Right, guys, we're almost to splicing. So we got our ring here. Let's get this past our loop system. So this is our cable here. We only got to get to one of these cables on this 12. So how do we do that? Well, first and foremost, let's make sure that we didn't grab the wrong cable. I didn't check this because I'm very familiar with what I'm doing out here. I didn't check it at the start, that is, before I pulled up. But before you pull these up, I'm going to verify if you have your tone on it, and I do. I got my 1K tone, as you can see. Or if you're building blind, you're not going to know until you splice and take some shots. But you don't want to do that. Yeah, because things happen out in the field, and things happen down the field that we don't know about sometimes. Me being familiar with this area, I know that I'm secure. So I've worked this area for quite some time. What I'm using here is my ribbon tool. I'm able to separate it into different patterns depending on what I want out of it. Made by Corning. Highly suggest this if you're working with ribbon. It is your best friend. Now, a lot of times this ribbon, you can't get the shielding of it off to be able to get to your one fiber out of the 12. So what I like to do is just do it to where you get to my 2. Get your fingernails. And you're just going to go up and down on this thing a little bit. Different directions. Go the other way. Look, that was just enough already. Separating from the other fiber, I was able to separate this into 2s. So I'm gonna pull this fiber up to where a ring stopped where I was separating. Let's see which way we're going here. Alright, it says my tone is shooting that direction, so let's cut to verify. We still got our tone. That means we are coming from that direction. So I'm going to separate this off completely while leaving the other side attached. Sometimes people are separated from the other side and roll it up in your tray. But having that slack laying up in there, if you can avoid more slack laying in your tray, avoid it. Get it out of the way. Just keep it prettier. Prettier most usually means less trouble. you're doing correctly. Alright, man, we're right there, guys. So close. All we need is just the blue fiber out of here. We're going to follow the color code. Got our blue fiber separated. We're going to roll up the rest of this into a little loop. I like to roll these up. Me and hundreds and thousands of other people, so you can have it and see that this is slack laying in there. Alright guys, we're almost at splicer. We're just going to kind of reconsolidate a little bit more. Kind of clean up. Tools out of the way that I need to be here. Try to clean off my other gel tools, all that gel. And I told you it's just inevitable. If it happens, just accept it. Don't be upset. There's nothing to get upset about in this field. Except when you mess up and you know that you're going to be there for at least 12 hours. Then yeah, I would say take a couple minutes to breathe, reconsolidate, ground yourself. To be honest, this is probably one of the most stressful fields I've ever been in my life. And if it wasn't for my patience with myself and my grounding, I would not be able to do this. So if you have troubles with that, I highly suggest looking up ways to ground yourself and shake back. You don't want to start this field not grounded and being able to reground yourself. Just from experience. Alright, we're going to get out of the tool, all the tools out of the way that you're not using, like I was saying. We're almost there. Clean up your tools as you go if they have gel on them, because we are almost to our stopping point. So I'm just over here cleaning up some tools. Highly suggest Go Joe in your alcohol, Go Joe hand cleaner wipes. They make the difference. The name brand makes the difference. All right. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. To the fun part. Wait, you're not having fun? Yes. I'm having a blast. But I'm ready for some more fun. Today, we got our fork F15S. I believe this is our clad alignment fusion splicer. got your core alignment, which is more on backbone, enterprise, and big bulk count cables whenever you're putting those together. And then you got your clad alignment. Just whenever you're out in the field and you're moving and gunning and you don't have the core alignment, so use your clad alignment. Which is it's not that big of a difference. Let me give you an example of your difference. Because your clad alignment is going to give you about a 0.03 loss for starters. Core alignment is only about a 0.01 loss, which is what you want. But if you can't afford it to start, do what you got to do. That's what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm measuring up my splice for this tray, making sure that my cable wraps all the way around my tray and is able to stop where my splice is going to stop throughout here. And each one of these little rivets are all for different splices. So your first splice, you want to make sure you stop and cut it right there. You're end of the line. So when you cut that cable, you cut off here and leave the excess. That's it. Cut off there and then you throw away the excess. What I mean. What you mean what I know? Alright. We are about to get in some what it's all about right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my fibers prepped on both sides. Got this guy turned on, safe, secured. Let's get our cleaver. This cleaver here gives us a perfect cut. Whenever you're messing with this fiber, you have to have a perfect cut. And, you want a good cleaver for that. All cleavers are supposed to give you a perfect cut, but you're not going to get that with all cleavers. You're going to get a good one. And this is the NO type. Got my heat shrink on. I'm going to go ahead and try to get to our fiber that's exposed here. This is still has cladding on it. You cannot see the core. It's so small. It's about 1/10 of a human hair. The size of this fiber here, I believe, is 200 UM. That's its diameter. So what I'm going to do is lift up these chucks, and I have to place my fiber on here the right way, where it's just barely going past your edge for it to do its fusion splice. Alright, let's see if I can get some better positioning for y'all. And get our other side. Sorry, we are still working on camera angles here. This is our first video. I don't think we're doing too bad. Alright, shift it again. Clean. Now you got that little gel there. So we'll go over it a second time. Be safe. Because the amount of time that you see me doing this, I wouldn't cleaned off that gel. I get to the point where I got to splice and it doesn't splice, I just wasted all that time because I didn't clean it for a second time. So let's just do that to be safe. Alright. Now, I'm going to have the machine do the work. Just pushing it together. It doesn't look like there's anything in between these like causing any issues if we were to splice. So I'm going to go ahead and set it. It's going to align it for us, do the clad alignment. And It's gonna do our splice. Well, hey, check that out. We got a 0.11 dB loss. We don't want that. And that's what happens when you get these clad alignment splicers. So let's cut the splice. Let's try again. We're gonna resheath your alcohol, cleave, set your fiber, resheath your alcohol, do your cleave. Come on now, cleaver. There you are, there you are. Reset our fibers. Close it up. Redo our set. Up. Says problem over limit. Usually means that this is not shifted on there correctly. Each splicer is different. May not look like it, but there's just a little bit different with each different machine. Quick set. Getting our arc, our splice is complete. That is still giving us a bad loss. It's because we're dealing with ribbon, which is a different size fiber going to your open tube fiber. And certain machines create certain loss. In the situation here on this work order, the first one would have been acceptable because we have this going all the way to our central office. Our central office is our data center for the backbone internet. And this is going to be plugged up to equipment specifically at the data center that then hooks up with equipment at the customer. So whenever you have loss like that, your data center isn't too far, which is this one isn't too far. I'd say probably about 15 miles or so from here. That little bit of loss won't make a difference unless you had that loss going all the way down the road, and every splice I did was giving me that loss. But whenever you're out in the field, you won't run across them switching from ribbon to open tube consistently. It's most usually one or the other. Yeah, you'll see in that work where it changes up here and there. But if they cared, the engineering that is, about what they build and where they set their core changes, then yeah, you won't have to deal with that. We're going to go ahead and deal with this little loss here. And like I said, I mentally can't do it, fellas. Some people would do it. But we're just still not going to do that today. We're going to resplice again. If I cannot beat my minimum loss, which is 0.09, is what my standards are, then we may have to deal with what we got due to the ribbon fiber. Most usually, like I was just saying, it's usually ribbon to ribbon, but this is a situation where it's not. We're dealing with ribbon to open tube fiber. And there is a core change there. It's not a big one, but it's enough to give you signal loss whenever you do your final OTDR testing. Put a little bit more alcohol on this, see if that might make a little bit difference for us. Yeah, if we would have a core alignment splicer, we probably wouldn't be dealing with this. But we do not have that machine today. And reset back in there. Throw our clamps down. Make sure that there's no gunk in between. There's not. Looks good. Good cleaves. We're still getting some loss. Okay. Well, this is going to come into a situation where we're going to have to stabilize our electrodes. I think you can't do it with your ribbons, so we're going to stabilize it real quick and I'll be right back. Alright, we stabilized our electrodes and we got a loss of 0.04, which is pretty good. It's not the 0.01 you would get with the core alignments, but this is just 1 point over your minimum with your clad alignment splicer. Right. Splice is complete. And how do we know that we're going all the way inside the customer and coming all the way back out safely? Remember how we were talking about using that 1K tone earlier, which is verified? And that's something that I turned on myself at the central office so I could continue to verify out in the field. Shout out to Vapin to showing me that. We're gonna go ahead and verify from inside the customer, because I have a loop from the port number 1, which is our blue fiber, going to our port number 2, which is our orange fiber. So if we got 1K tone right here on our meter, that means we got it. We got our 1K tone, ladies and gentlemen, 1K tone. That means splicing is complete. Right now, if you're inside the customer and they were to unplug port 1, they would have a 1K tone if they could verify. Because that's what we are spliced. We're just going to pick up this tray and kind of basically do a little clean brush up, some labeling, and try to get our final product here in front of us. Whenever it comes to putting rings inside of your trays, I do not suggest rolling it up in your hands like so down here. Just laying it in here flat. The reason being, you have so many rolled up slack in these trays and so many enclosures out in the field, it is creating insane loss at the end of the line when the cable stops. I'll give you an example. We were building a neighborhood out in Baton Rouge one time, and I was assigned a street to myself, and it was a really big street, and I laid all my cable in my slack trays, all the way, my rings that is, all the way out. And whenever you're out here doing these big builds, big bulk enterprise builds like that, you gotta do your end of line testing to see what your loss looks like from the beginning to the back. When I was checking my cables, I didn't have much loss. I was talking to some other guys and they're checking their cables. They're like, man, I have like a 10 to 12 dB loss at the end of this neighborhood. They couldn't figure it out. I had a small idea of what it could have been. But I'm the new guy, so what am I going to do? Speak up, you know, and try to shine? I'm here to learn. So what did I do? I went to those enclosures with them, and I started unwinding. You come to find out that whenever you get so many rolled up like that, you get major loss. There's a time and place for everything when you're working with people, and when you're in training with a lot of these workers that's been in the field for 15, 20 years. You're in training a new guy and you tell somebody something, most usually going to rub them wrong. Why is the new guy coming here telling us this stuff? You know? Sometimes you're right. Most times you're wrong. The new guy. Just be humble out in the field. There's a situation that's wrong. You're with somebody new that's training you. Let them work and do their part. Figure it out on their own. Now the tables turn here. When you're with somebody that's wrong and they care to learn, most usually they don't. They've been doing it for 15, 20 years. It gives you an ego, some of these people. They don't want to hear it. You can just feel the character, and I guess the person's just character, the spirit type of person that there is that's going to take that type of information. Then you tell them. But I highly suggest when you're working with somebody, you keep your mouth shut. You listen, which is every letter that spells silent as well. You're there to learn, you're not there to teach. And if there's situations where they're learning too, learn with them. You know? It just depends on you if you want to learn. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting on my gel boot. That's what they would call it. This gel is going to keep water from getting inside of this enclosure when that handhole fills up with water when it rains. Well, that handhole is not going to fill up with water. Yes, it is. You have to assume that it is every single time. Because it forces you to take those safe measures. That will save people hours and hours and thousands of dollars. Follow your training and you take these preventative measures. Even if you're telling yourself it's not going to rain. Well, I'm in the building, it's not going to rain. I don't need to do that. Yes, you do. The day that you install it, somebody was in the bathroom smoking a cigarette, set off that dang fire alarm. Now it's raining. No, I'm just kidding, that probably won't really happen, but still do it. It's the correct way to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost there. God, this has been a ride, huh? We got all types of nasty. We got all types of clean. We had this dang thing up here full capped with tools, gel. Got us ended right now with clean, no gel. It's because we took all safety preventative measures to avoid that. And had a good time while doing it. Now the very most important piece when it comes out here working with these networks is keeping track of what you've done out here and making sure that it's synchronized online with the rest of your network. People know what you've done where, the times you did it, because accidents happen. They'll happen when you least expect it. For instance, as soon as I finish up this, I'm going to call the Network Operations Center to verify that we didn't cut anything off. That cable, I kept looking at the beginning. Remember that when I kept looking at it? Yes. That 1% chance is enough. That 1% that you verify on will save you 100% of a headache down the road when you're on your way home. You get a phone call that, hey, we don't know what's going on, but yeah, we got some customers out over there where you were at. You gotta turn around. Oh, we're gonna prevent that today. We're out here today, out here right now. Oh, we're gonna prevent that. The only reason we didn't make the call at the very beginning is when it comes to situation. Oh, ouchie! Gloves. I didn't cut myself but close. I'm just gonna make sure that we gave them enough time to see some signals. See if it drops or not. I feel pretty confident we didn't cut it. Mess up anybody, but 1% is going to matter whenever you're laying down in your bed thinking about your day. But Caleb, I don't really lay down on my bed and think about my day. Well, I think that's something that you should start doing. The reason being, we don't look back and reflect who we were that day. Just move on in this world full of distractions. We're going to miss out on that growth that we can catch in that moment before we close our eyes to reset our mind. So next time you open those eyes is in the morning on a new day. With new growths waiting on your new day. So let's think about the day we had before we end our first day. Because what we learn on our first day is going to make our second day just a little bit easier. Alright, y'all. I want to thank y'all for y'all's time and patience out here. We're out in Lafayette, Louisiana. We just spliced for a really big commercial customer that's expanding. Thank y'all for y'all's time today. This was TekSyncLabs.